Doggy. Oh, right. We're live. Okay. Welcome, Richard Swan.
Good morning.
From London City Voices. And Jason, obviously, myself. And got a little doggy down here, keeping us company as Bluey. And so we're here talking about your new book.
We are, indeed.
Think You Can't Sing. And you've got a big version there.
Big version, hardback version here.
Okay, Think You Can't Sing. And so people who are watching, feel free to post questions in the chat. All right. And first of all, before we get into the book, just tell us about yourself, your background, your musical background. And
cool, I shall. So my name is Richard. I run a choir called London City Voices, a huge big pop choir in London, about 600 people. I used to be a teacher. I used to be a music teacher, so I trained as. I used to run a band. I used to do functions and things like that. And I've been doing choirs for about the last 12 years or so. I really love getting people to sing.
Great. And so obviously you love getting people to sing. And so what's that your kind of motivation for writing this book?
Yeah, so over lockdown, I remember seeing Gareth Malone doing his great home choir thing and thinking, I mean, we were doing a choir ourselves, but obviously this great home choir was getting lots and lots and lots of people involved. But I remember thinking there's loads and loads of people who just wouldn't ever think that they could participate in something like that because they don't have a voice. They're not very good at singing, and they go, I couldn't join a choir. I'm not good enough. That kind of attitude. And I thought I should really do something about that because I get people coming to London City Voices all the time who they can't pitch properly, and then I help them, show them how to do it, and then they can pitch properly.
Yeah.
So the vast majority of people can learn to sing.
Have you ever come across somebody who absolutely could not learn to sing?
I have never.
Yeah.
Never, ever. I'm 53. I've never come across anybody who cannot do it.
Because that's something that people say so often.
Yeah.
And they say, not just they can't sing, they say, oh, I'm completely not musical.
Yep.
Or I can't sing. Or they'll often say, I'm tone deaf.
Yeah.
And I say the same thing. I say, I bet you're not tone deaf.
Yeah.
I bet if I went, duh, you hear that they're not the same, the different notes. Yeah. And so you just think that because you've been told that, or
Yeah, so there is a thing called congenital amusia, and that's the medical name for being tone deaf. But rather than the apparently 14% of people who think they're tone deaf, it's only actually about 2.5% of people who actually are tone deaf, and those people don't really tend to like music.
Yeah,
because it means nothing to you if you can't recognize that whether the music is going up or down, then it means nothing to you. It's a bit like singing. It's a bit like sitting in a foreign language lecture.
Yeah,
something that a language you don't speak. So the vast majority of people who say they're tone deaf are not tone deaf.
Yes,
they just haven't learned to pitch properly.
Yeah,
and they can be taught to pitch properly.
I know. I remember someone I showed to you. Oh, he's
snoring away,
little doggy down there. And I showed you a clip of somebody singing on one of my ukulele videos.
Yes.
And you said he's just not listening.
Yeah.
He's just not trying.
Yeah.
And is that a case with a lot of people that just kind of just don't know how to think about it?
Yeah. Lots of people just don't realize that singing is a precision activity.
Yeah.
And you have to aim so in my choir, if we have a new person and they come and I can hear sometimes there's somebody singing some notes that aren't quite the ones I want them to sing, and that I'll just ask the new person to stay back at the end and see how it was and everything, and I'll just do something like this: sing this note for me, and they'll immediately launch in even before they've listened to the note with like that, and not really try to get it.
Yeah, they'll just make a noise.
And then I say, no, hang on a minute, just listen to this note. And then they'll go, usually.
Yeah, or sort of slide up to it.
Sometimes I'll say, start like that. And then, so with some practice, everybody, not 100% of the world, but a very, very large.
But most people who think they
most
can't
people who think they can't
can.
Yeah.
And yeah, so is that your kind of reasoning for writing this book, to encourage people?
Singing is a cathartic thing. It's a fantastic thing. We're born to be able to sing, really. We're not born with the ability to sing. We have to learn that.
Yeah.
But we are, it's a brilliant thing to do. And if you're locking yourself out of that needlessly because of some cruel thing that some teacher told you way back when, or maybe your mum or your dad said, "Oh no, we're all tone deaf in our family."
Yeah.
It's not the case. All right, it's not the case. I promise you. I've had people who were asked to mime in the school choir. Maybe that's you. I've had people whose children say to them, "Mummy, don't sing. Mummy, don't sing. You're off key." All of these people can be taught to do it. So that's, I just want people to experience how much fun it is.
And of course, and it's not just learning to sing because you think you're going to be a great singer,
no,
or front a band or something like that. It's more a lot of people who can't sing are missing out on social activities and things like joining the choir, or just karaoke nights, and just having the ability to get up there without self-confidence, without that kind of embarrassment.
So karaoke is quite a funny one because I've heard so many karaoke performances, so many really good karaoke performances ruined just because somebody started on the wrong note and carried on in the wrong place. Can I give you an example on the guitar?
Yeah, grab a guitar.
Grab a guitar.
There's an acoustic one behind you. If that's better.
So, right, let me give you an example. Angels, for example.
Yeah.
Right? Big karaoke song. So if you sing, I sit and wait, does an angel.
Yeah.
You see? So if this sounds fine without an accompaniment. I sit and wait, does an angel contemplate my fate. But if you start like this, I sit and wait. Does an angel? Yeah, you're on the wrong key. Yeah, you have to go. I sit and wait. Does an angel contemplate? So you're just in the wrong place. So I've had so many people singing. Actually, if you turned off the backing music, it would sound fine. But because they haven't started in the right place, it ruins it. And that is not it's not about not being able to sing. It's about it's not listening correctly. To the backing. So all of this stuff is correctable. And the book will go into that in quite a lot of detail. And not only that, but there are some video resources.
So I've noticed throughout the book, obviously, there's lots of. So just tell us a little bit about the book itself, how it's structured, and what kind of do you need to understand music to?
No, it's for total beginners, and it's a very quick read. It's 182 pages. And it's a kind of a lunchtime read. Lots and lots of beautiful illustrations by Rachel Dunstan, my illustrator. And there's lots of links to various exercises which will help you actually hear the stuff and then put it into practice. And so there's things for you to practice. You can use the QR codes, but actually there's a link. There's a particular website which you go to, and then you can just go to the next.
Click
video.
on the. Exactly. So all the videos are in one place.
Yes, they're in one place. So there are actually I've put some free videos now on the London City Voices channel. But if you just Google "Think You Can't Sing, Think Again," you'll get some access to the free videos. There's some adverts on them. If you buy the book, then you get the link to the ones without the adverts. But "Think You Can't Sing, Think Again," that will take you to the right place. I specifically wanted to talk to guitarists because there are loads of people who play instruments, but they think they can't sing. And if you would like to learn to sing, to accompany yourself, basically, or rather you already know how to accompany, but you'd like to accompany yourself singing it, then this might be perfect for you.
Yeah, of course, because often at the party, someone say, "Oh, you play guitar,
Yeah,
and give us a song."
yeah, yeah.
But
exactly.
you might be able to do the chords, but you might not have the confidence to
exactly
to get out the guitar and do that, or and if you can do that, a whole new world opens up to you as well. You've
totally
got open mic nights, backing vocals in bands, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so so you say you don't need any musical knowledge to do this. So what kind of journey does the book take you on in terms of
so
starting off?
What I do right at the beginning, the very first thing I ask you to do in the book is to record yourself singing a song now.
Yeah.
With all warts and all, preferably. In fact, it's the worse it is, the better the result will be. And it's just the reason I ask you to do that is, and you don't have to show it to anybody. You might be willing to later on when you get better, but it's to sort of calibrate. It's to say, well, this is how bad I am now.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to put my money where my mouth is. I believe that the book will make you better. If you do the stuff in the book, you'll improve. So the idea is let's just set a baseline for how bad I am now. Right?
Yeah.
And so the first thing I ask you to do is record something, and then at the end of the book, I say, okay, I'd like you to record that again, the same song.
Yeah.
And just to see how far you've come.
It's like when people got a diet, they take the picture of them on day one of the diet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. It just takes you through. There's some music theory in it, but it's very clearly explained. It's not like your music lessons at school where
Yeah. So there's like things about scales and pitch.
Yep, there is, and there's some of the video sessions are about that as well. It's a fun light-hearted read, but it does go into some of the. So there's a. Let me show you a page on here.
Got a bottle top.
Let me see where it is. It is. I've got to find the page in here. So singing is one of those things where. Here we go. Things children are encouraged to do, but when done incorrectly, gently corrected and shown how to do better. So most things, this is how we teach children.
Yeah.
We say, you're not doing that quite right. Let me show you how to do that properly. But when it comes to singing, very often we just write people off and we go, don't sing. You can't. You're tone deaf. So I've got a little illustration there. You can see.
Yeah.
There's so many things we teach children to do.
Yeah.
Wash themselves. Hold a knife and fork.
Yeah.
Use a knife to chop vegetables. Use chopsticks. Use a potter's wheel. Ride a bike. Ballet dance. All those kind of things.
Yeah.
We teach children if they're not very good at it. Teach them how to do it better.
You go,
and if somebody
like
bashes away at a piano or something like that, then we say, no, hang on. You should go to some lessons. You can have some lessons to do that. But if they can't sing.
It's automatically assumed it's just
you're tone deaf.
A binary thing.
We are not born able to sing. We copy. We copy what we see, and if we don't have that modelled well to us, if mummy doesn't sit you on her knee and sing "Wind the Bobbin Up" or whatever, that's hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of lessons that you're missing out on. I really want to try and show you that you can learn this stuff later in life. There's a lot of parallels in here with skiing, because I came to skiing at 47, and I was terrible at it at first, really terrible at it. I had to learn how to fall over, I had to be corrected, shown how to do things properly, and now I can do it. I'll never be amazing at it, but I do it because it's fun. There's a question on there.
Yeah. It says, hi, guys. It's from Malcolm Head. One of the problems that most people, especially me, have is that they don't like the sound and tone of their own speaking and singing voice. It seems to just grate.
Yeah. So this is one of those things. If you're in a way, you have to, if you want to improve at something like this, you have to be willing to deal with that. It won't get better if you don't actually practice, and if you don't have somebody to show you, which is what this aims to do. If you don't have somebody to show you what you're doing wrong and why you might be doing it wrong, with a learning process, you always have to go through that. It's the uncomfortable bit. So when I was learning to ski, it's the falling down. It's the get your instructor going, no, that's not quite right. You need to lean forward more, or whatever. Those type of things, and you have to be a bit bad at it for some time, and you have to allow yourself to be bad at it, but still practice it. I do understand, Malcolm, what you're saying there, that you don't like what you hear at the moment, but what you hear at the moment can change. It can get better, but you're going to have to, if you want to get better, then you're going to have to go through a little bit of a. It's like when you're growing your hair or something like that. There's a bit where it's terrible.
Yeah, and also I've noticed through. So I teach a lot of people to do filming and things, and how to do interviews.
Yeah,
and I teach people how to record podcasts and stuff. And it's kind of universal that people say, "Oh, when I listen to myself back, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I sound different." And in a sense, we do hear ourselves differently, I guess, because we hear ourselves coming through
with all the resonance in here.
It comes through here and goes through the inside, and then when you hear yourself recorded back, you're hearing what people hear on the outside, and it goes to a different channel.
Yeah, so it sounds much different path, much more kind of more nasal, and from the outside, you don't have all the. I hear myself very, like this.
Brian Blessed, yeah. Oh, I've climbed a mountain. Oh,
hello.
Yeah.
And then when I hear myself,
it's like, hello. Like Orville, Keith Harris,
It's true.
Yeah.
I remember being horrified at hearing my voice. And going, oh, that's what I sound like. That's terrible. But I mean, it's okay.
And it's weird. You do get used to it as well, because I used to present an internet radio show, and it was like me and my friend Dan, 3 hours every night. And it's amazing how, because you listen back to it sometimes. You do get used to your own voice, and it becomes like normal.
You do.
You're kind of acclimatized to it.
Yeah.
So Malcolm, I'd say that you got to push through it.
Yeah, you do have to push through that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so I get I have a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, I'd love to join a choir, but I'd love to join your choir, but I'm not good enough." And I have this argument with them, but you don't have to be good. The whole point is you'll get better as you do it more, and the choir kind of absorbs your kind of imperfections. Exactly. Well, yes, and it's not about you sounding amazing. It's just about you having fun doing it, and then you'll get better. The more you practice this kind of stuff, the better you'll get.
It's like anything. It's like it's not an either or. People tend to think singing is. Exactly. Like you either can or you can't.
Exactly.
But with any other form of music, it's practice.
Yeah.
Like with guitar.
Yeah.
You've got to put the hours in.
Have you seen that meme, which is like, I don't know how you musicians do it. It's a God-given talent. It's practice.
Yeah.
You're just amazing. It's uncanny. How do you do it? It's practice. It's what you spend your time doing. People, I was giving a workshop yesterday, and people were saying, how do you know so much about this? This is what I do. I've been doing this all my life, and this is what I've put my 10,000 hours and more into. Therefore, I'm an expert in it. But you're an expert in things that I'm not. It's where you put your time,
where you put your effort.
Yeah,
where you put your effort. And so obviously there's the idea of singing. Just from the book it's not the book aimed at people who want to be like lead singer in a band, although it would help them. It's aimed at just anybody who wants to gain confidence.
So I've got several demographics who would enjoy this. Basically, there's the people who really don't believe they have anything to offer music wise. So you like I said earlier, you might have been thrown out of the school choir or asked to mime. You might struggle singing carols at Christmas because you don't want people to look at you and laugh. You might be laughed at in karaoke. You might not even sing happy birthday to your friends. You might shut up when when they do. So that's one group, and then there's the people who know somebody in that group who might like to give them a nice Christmas present.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with it, because you need to have a good enough relationship with them that you're not going to offend them terribly.
Yeah. It's not like, yeah.
There was another group, and it's gone. Oh, it's just people who know they can pitch, but they just they know, you don't always get the right notes, and you'd like to know why that might be.
Improving.
Yeah, usually it's just a confidence thing, and sometimes people don't go high. They don't like to la 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 la. You don't go up there, because you don't know what might happen if you go up there.
Yeah.
You always stay down here, and you sort of sing in your speaking voice area most of the time. So you might go. Here's an example. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Now the next line has a big jump in it. So, but people often just go, "Happy birthday, dear Jason."
Yeah.
Happy, and they don't go high enough, because you kind of go, "Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I'll just stay in this nice safe area. That's where I'll remain."
Yeah.
And so that it's aimed at people like yourselves as well.
And so if they get the book, and obviously there's links in there, what kind of techniques do you need to do to improve your singing?
Really, so going onto the videos and spending a bit of time doing that, going back and forth, going over the videos. I do things like just long notes, just singing something like and just practicing hitting that. Yeah,
it's a lot of time you tend to go
off. Well, and in fact, there's one particular exercise which I've got in there, which I wrote a song specifically for exactly that, because one of my students I started this as a pilot thing over lockdown, and I had one of my students who we were doing what was it? It's I think was it a Snow Patrol song? Run, I think it was. And instead of going right up, what's it? Light up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, even if you cannot, he go. Even if you can.
It started
going down. So I wrote this song which goes, I will sing this note and I'll keep it the same until now. So it carries on like that. It's got backing and everything, and it gets you to practice staying on the same note, singing the same note over and over and over again, and then moving, rather than just drifting down all the time. So there's lots of exercises which you can just go over and over and again, and you will improve. You will get better at doing it.
Yeah, and I've noticed also there's not just the singing thing, but I'm just looking through it. There's some nice bits that are just interesting about music in general and how music works.
And I've got a fair bit of theory there. Like I say, it's not like your school music lessons, which when I had school music lessons, they were pretty dry. And they were in a context of no musical instruments. I remember learning about. I'd already learned the music theory because I had piano lessons, but everybody else in the classroom, we were just sitting at desks and learning about music theory with no reason to learn that music theory. It's a bit like sitting in a room and learning about football without ever going and playing it. There's no point. I aim to explain some quite useful things about music which will help you do it better. And then there's some good little links to some external videos as well.
Because I do find that it's not that you need to learn theory or anything to sing, but just understanding the mechanics of how music works helps you know why something's wrong, or what you're doing wrong, or how to correct things, and why things like music work, why harmony works. I often show people. I'll show people a chord on the piano and say these notes work together and these don't. And that's kind of harmony.
So here's one we can demonstrate actually. So tuning, right? So singing a note in tune. What does that actually mean? Now, lots of guitarists will know that because you tune guitars. But hearing that in the voice is sometimes is So what people who don't sing have often got used to, I call it normalizing the dissonance.
Okay, yeah.
So it's people you've got so used to singing out of tune that it doesn't shock you anymore. So you sing the wrong note and then aren't surprised by that wrong note. Whereas if most people who sing and who are used to singing will go, oh, that's not the right note. But if you kind of get used to it, it's become normalized. It's not a shock anymore. So you don't shy away from it. So Jason, sing this. Just sing a note for me. Can you sustain that for a bit? Or take it? Yeah. Okay. So now stop for a second. I'm going to get Jason to sing that again, and I'm going to start just underneath that note, and then I'm going to slide up to the note, and you'll hear when it's in tune. So try for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Do a lower note because that's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So lots of people don't realize how that works, and once you've realized it, then you can go, oh, that's what it sounds like. We had one guy who came to our choir earlier this year, and I demonstrated this with somebody, and he was terrible before. The following week, he got it.
Yeah,
and it was revelation to him. And some of those little things are amazingly powerful.
It's amazing what you do kind of normalize to. I found the same with guitar. I've sometimes seen people and playing in pubs and stuff. I mean, when I was 15, there was this guy in the pub called Paddy, and he's like a folk singer.
Yeah.
And he used to play at Park Hotel in Lancaster. And my mum used to take me down there, and we'd go, and every time Paddy was on, she'd say to me, Jason, why don't you go and tune Paddy's guitar when he's not looking? I was always too embarrassed to do it. But his guitar was never in tune. Never in tune. And I've noticed with other people, I think they've just got used to it. And that's why when anybody's ever come to me for like lessons and stuff, I've always said the first thing you do is get a little tuner.
Yeah.
Just to get used to the sound of what being in tune is. Yeah. And then the first thing you do every day is tune your guitar. Yeah. That's before you even play a chord or something. Yeah. Just I want your ears to get used to what being in tune sounds like.
Yeah, because if you get, it's a bit like if you get used to a bitter taste or something like that. You know, you maybe you didn't like it at first, but then it became you became acclimatized.
Acclimatized, yeah.
And you go, oh, this isn't so bad anymore. So it's like Stockholm syndrome for bad pitching, you know. So if you get used to that not so nice sound, you won't kind of reel away from it. You won't kind of avoid it. So you have to be taught again how to realize what that sounds like. And then try and get stuff in pitch. Yeah.
So there's like practical stuff. Monk music. Yes, I did go to St. Martin's. That is correct.
There we go.
There you go. St. Martin's College, Lancaster. Well, I didn't do music there, but I was in a band there, which was great fun. And but you know, but it's, I remember learning kind of sort of to play guitar and stuff. And I was very lucky that my uncle was a guitarist. Yeah. So, you know, he sort of drummed these things into me, you know, musical knowledge. So it's good to have some knowledge to back up what you're doing.
Yeah. And the theory, I get quite excited about music theory because it helps you understand and helps you be better at the things that you do. So there's not loads of it in there, but there's enough to inform you of the things that you know to make you better I think if you read the book, you'll kind of go, I never realized that before. I just, you know, it didn't occur to me. And lots of people, the biggest thing that a lot of people find that they've never realized before is that you have to aim when you're singing.
Yeah.
It's a bit, again, to use, I'm not a footy fan, but if you're on a football pitch and there's a goal over there and you've got a ball, then you have to aim for the goal. If you just randomly kick, it's not going to go in there. And it's the same with
I think some
with
people
singing.
think you open your mouth and the magic happens, or it
Yeah.
doesn't. But you
Yeah, no,
actually
you
have
actually
to
put the effort
think
in.
of where you
Yeah.
and control the muscle.
Yes.
And learn to make it move up and down to the right place.
That's what these exercises do. They give you, they start to give you some control. Maybe you'll have gone to Pilates or something. Have you ever done?
I have done Pilates in yoga.
Have you ever had the experience when you go to Pilates and you and the teacher says, "I just want you to move your back flat onto the floor," and I'm like,
"Oh, it doesn't quite do. It's quite fit."
It's not so that I just don't know how to move that muscle. I've never moved that muscle ever to be able to do that, and I've no idea how to do it. So some people don't know how to move the muscle that goes They consciously don't know how to go So getting the control over that kind of part of your voice. There's some exercises to help you do that.
And then there's the listening part as well.
Yeah.
And listening for when you've got and learning to realize when you've got to the right place.
Yes, exactly. And stop there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so it's really, so basically, how long do you think, it's like how long is a piece of string? But if you were to sort of start and say, okay, I'm going to get this book and I'm going to follow all the lessons through.
Yeah.
How long do you think it takes somebody to reach a point where they actually not filling the Albert Hall, but feel like they've gained the confidence to join a choir? Or
so, as you say, how long is a piece of string? It is going to be up to the personalities involved. It is going to be up to how much time you're doing and spending on the exercises. I have had just to use the example of Julio, who joined this year, who was saying I did this exercise with. He had massively improved in a week.
Wow.
And that was just because it was a sudden revelation to him. It was like, I'd never realized that before. But once he got the whole tuning thing, it was like, there we are. Because the first week or two that he'd come along to choir, he was droning along, and not trying anywhere near. The other thing to say is that a lot of people, they think that you have to always be really comfortable when you're singing. So they think that. So I've got a range. I've got quite a low voice, but my strong notes are about here. About that five range, about a fifth there. Now, if I can sing up here, but it's not as easy. I have to use. It's definitely not as resonant. It's not as comfortable to sing. But most of the notes that I sing are not in that small range. So once you get out of that comfort zone, once you start getting used to being out of that comfort zone, it will come a lot quicker. But the book explains a lot of this.
Yeah, I've got a friend, and she's now like a professional singer. She's a cabaret performer. That's a job. She's very successful. And she once said to me, and she always has a good voice, and so it's obviously when she sort of sang to people, great. But she got up with a band once for the first time and started singing, and the band said to her, "What are you doing?" And she said, "What?" She's just singing without any reference to what we're playing.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, I hadn't thought of that." And anyway, they rehearsed with it, and suddenly she said, "You've got a singing key."
Yeah.
And she said, "I've not thought of that."
Yeah.
And then she's listened to what the band were playing for the next time, and she was great.
Yeah.
And she just hadn't that light bulb moment.
Yeah.
She said, "I just nobody had taught me about the concept of singing in the right key."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And now she does it like amazingly well, and
it's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have this all the time. I have lots of people who I had a really interesting one recently where there was a guy who a couple of years ago, there's a guy who was in the choir who he was a great singer. He could sing. He sang songs in open mic and everything like that. Put him in a section, and suddenly he was singing the wrong notes.
Yeah.
And what he was doing was he was listening to everybody else. hearing the notes that they were singing, thinking he was singing those notes. But in fact, he was just staying on this in this strong bit of his voice, thinking, this feels great. I feel really strong here. I can hear somebody's out of tune, but it can't be me because I'm singing really, I feel great. But it was him who was singing out of tune. And it wasn't until I gently pointed this out to him that he was doing this wrong, that he suddenly sort of took ownership of that and went, oh yeah, I can hear that now. Because if you're singing with other people, if you stick a finger in,
I don't know what that magic is, but it does help.
It allows you to hear yourself better, so you can hear yourself.
So I find that when I'm singing quiet, if you're trying to sort of focus on, you're learning a new bit, and you've got new notes, and you're like, and there's all this stuff going on around you.
Yeah,
it's almost like it almost feels like a comedy thing, because it's what people, doing, like, the mighty wind, the classic folk singing in the club. Oh, but it does work. It does help you kind of. It's a cliche, but sticking your finger in it seems like, you're doing an impersonation of a bloke in a folk club.
Exactly,
but it actually really has a benefit.
It has a benefit because it allows you to hear the resonance much better for yourself. Yeah. It takes a little bit of getting used to do it properly, because you have to hear yourself through this ear, and other people through the other ear.
Outside. But that's something a guy called Gary Boyle, who's a great guitarist, when I was about 15 told me, not in relation to singing, but just in relation to music in general. He said, you've always got to have, some people only have one ear or both ears on what they're playing.
Yes.
But you've always got to have one ear on what you're doing and one ear on what everybody else is doing.
Well, exactly. Drummers who can't play to a click.
Yeah.
Because they think they are the click, and they just internal sync. Not trying to link with anybody else. I found I've played with a lot of drummers like that. Can't listen to other people.
No, well, it's a huge. I played to a click. I always admire drummers that do it really well. My friend Gail, she's amazing. Because she plays to a click, but she can fill around the click and never lose the click.
Right.
So she's not just like just following the click, like got to keep in time. She can go off and go around the whole kit and be back on the beat. Never miss a beat. That's a real skill.
It really is.
But it's all about listening.
It is all about listening, and in the end, singing is all about listening.
I think that's what maybe a lot of people forget. They think it's just a magic voice. But it's a combination of brain and ears and muscle and everything.
Did you see the quote on the front?
From Annie Lennox, of course.
Yes. So Annie Lennox says, singing is one of the most deeply rewarding and uplifting life experiences someone can have. Anyone who feels that this has been denied to them should read this book.
Well, of course, a lot of members, including myself, from the choir, found themselves in Annie Lennox, being part of Annie Lennox's choir, which is probably a lot of something that I never thought I'd do that, and probably most people involved in that video never thought they'd do.
Didn't expect to have conversations with her.
Because a lot of people who like join a choir and stuff are not people who think that singing is their number one thing.
Oh no, not at all. No.
It's very much a social thing. Friends bring them along. They come to make friends, and it's just the benefits of being with a group of people. Doing an activity.
The thing about being in a choir is it's not about doing it because you're good at it. It's about doing it because you love it. It really is. It really is about that, and it's all about the being together with people. It's community. That's what the choir thing is about, isn't it?
So switching on that thing in your brain that tells you that or kind of unlocking that door that's always sort of blocked you from doing things like that. It's a good, it just opens up all really kinds of possibilities to just go out and meet people, really do social things, and like I say, join in community projects, whatever you do. But there's so many kind of little gateways that's just having the confidence to sing, and not saying
so much
it's all about me. So it's all about the group and join a group.
Exactly.
And who knows, you might unlock an
amazing
voice.
Yeah.
It might just be there, and the voice might have just been hidden by a lack of the kind of knowledge of that, like my friend who had a great voice but hadn't learned to listen until the band said to her, "You've got to listen to what we're playing.
Yeah,
you've got, what are you doing?" She'd be like, literally, "What are you doing?"
Like you've seen that.
Yeah, I think it was like,
Excuse me.
She said she was like up on stage, like belting her head off with this big voice. But
And was that in a gig?
I think she got up with the band at a gig of some people that she knew.
Right.
And I'll sing. I'm a great singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she ended up being the lead singer in the band. But something like the potential was there. She, she was making good sounds that were, like it's like if she was singing a cappella, she'd probably been all right. Because
this is what I was saying about it. Yeah. Bad karaoke. Yeah. You've got to listen. You've got to listen to
it's two things. It's all connected. It's all connected. So if people want to get this book,
they can go to Amazon.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way. If you're in London and you happen to want to give our choir a try, our new term will be starting on the 8th of January. We're Monday, Wednesday and Thursday, and Tuesday online.
Yeah.
So if you're not in London, you can come online on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We stream our Wednesday rehearsals as well. But you could pick up a copy up from me in person if you came to that. Oh, but yes, Amazon. Think You Can't Sing, Think Again. And
it's available. Both. You've got a hardback copy.
Yeah, there's hardback copies, paperback copies,
and there's also
a Kindle. There's a Kindle version, and there is the Kindle version is a fixed format Kindle version. So because the illustrations and the links and the layout is very important, I've not made it flowable, I think is the term. So you can't change the font size and everything.
Okay, yeah.
Again, so it's not compatible with some of the Kindles, but it's compatible with all the Kindle apps. So personally, I use Kindle all the time, but I use it on my phone.
Yeah.
So it's perfectly capable of being used with that. But there's also an audiobook coming out in the new year. I have recorded it. I haven't finished editing it yet.
Yeah.
So that will be out as well. So yeah, lots of ways of getting it.
That's great.
I would love some of you to well, if you do get it, obviously I want to get it because I would like my book to be successful, but I really would like people to let me know if they've benefited from it and if they've enjoyed it, and if they've then gone out and joined a choir or something like that, or gone and started accompanying themselves. If you most of the people on this channel are guitarists.
Yeah.
I'd love to know if you've let Jason know or contact me.
Yeah. So how do we? So if they wanted to follow London City Voices,
they can follow London City Voices. We've got, but we've also got. So there's a Think You Can't Sing. I think You Can't Sing Instagram account.
Yeah.
And Facebook. We're all over the place.
I'll put all the links in the video description.
Yeah, brilliant. And yes, you can get in touch with me. I'm Richard Swan, and fairly easy to contact, I think. So if you've got questions, then do get in touch. It would be lovely to hear from you.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us, Richard.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. And
thanks for snoring, Blue.
Yeah, Bluey's there. There you go. Well, so thanks for joining us. Yeah, and if you've got any questions, forward them to me. I can forward them to Richard. Or just, like I say, follow Richard's links and drop Richard a line, and do get the book. It's really good. It's really great. So thanks for watching, buddies.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.